What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another favorites video for you. Today I've got a really exciting one for you. I am going over my all-time favorite holographic nail polishes. And I'm actually going to be showcasing 30 different polishes. We've got a bunch of different formulas, a bunch of different brands, but to me, these are the best holos. Now, before we get into it, just a little quick overview on holographic nail polish in case you're not super familiar with it. Basically, holo, aka holographic pigment or glitter, is a type of finish that shines the full spectrum of the rainbow, especially when it's hit with direct lighting. It's a little bit different from iridescent shimmer or glitter, which tends to be only a few different colors, and it does change when you wear it over certain colors. Holographic pigment, it's usually silver, and it doesn't change, it always just shows the whole rainbow. And there are two main types of holographic nail polish. We've got linear holo nail polish, which is basically what it sounds like, where the polish shines that rainbow in a line on your nail. And then we have the scattered holo finish, which is where it's kind of just little dots of rainbow pigment everywhere. And to me, that tends to look a little bit more like a starry night sky that's just kind of dotted with that holographic pigment, as opposed to that linear sort of rainbow. So I've got a bunch, both different types of holo. We've got jellies, we've got full coverage glitters, we've got everything. I do tend to prefer scattered holo pigment over linear holo, so you'll see more of those, but I do have both. And this is going to be a pretty long video, so you may as well just jump in. So here are my top 30 holo nail polishes of all time. So I'm not going to do this ranked, I'm just going to go in kind of a color order here, and I'm going to start off with these silvers because I always think of them as the classic holo colors. This first one is Subculture by Cirque, and this is one of my top, well, they're all my top favorite holos, but I do feel like this one is my go-to silver linear holo. It does have that linear holographic pigment in there, but it also has just the tiniest hint of a scattered holo fleck that just makes it so super holographic. And this one is actually even holographic looking when you're in indirect lighting. So I feel like this one is just my most holo silver. I think it's so stunning. The formula is really easy to use and it's just a classic for me. This next one is China Glaze OMG, and this one is actually a really interesting example of how a polish becomes more holographic as it dries, because you can see as I'm applying it, it honestly looks pretty much silver, but once it dries, it does turn into that gorgeous linear holo. And the China Glaze holos are a little bit different in that they almost have a pastel looking rainbow. It's a lot softer, and I think that's because of the finer glitters that are in there. So another really gorgeous one. It just feels very soft and ethereal to me. Next we have ILNP Mega X. So ILNP actually has a lot of these mega polishes, which is their silver holos. And in my silver holo video, I did do a comparison of all of them so you could see, but this one I would say is my favorite. It's kind of more of a scattered holo look. So you can see instead of giving me a line of rainbow, it definitely just has a more randomized rainbow look. And you can especially see that where the camera is a little bit out of focus in the back cuticle area. But what I really love about this one is that it applies just like a regular shimmer polish, but it actually looks like a full coverage glitter. Next up, we have the last of the silvers. This is OPI I Can Certainly Shine. And this was actually a pretty new one from their Zodiac collection from 2023. And this one I think is really gorgeous. It's a little bit more subtle as far as holo goes, and you definitely see a lot more of that silvery color, but when the light hits it just right, you can see that scattered holo sparkle, and I just think it's really beautiful. I think the formula is really easy to work with, and my zodiac sign is Cancer, so I'm a little bit partial to this one. Speaking of colors I am partial to, this is Starly Luna. This is actually one of my previous collab shades with them, but it is such a special one to me, and I just wanted to make the most holographic beige glitter, and that is exactly what we created. You can actually reach full coverage just with regular application rather than sponging it on, which is something that you can do to make a glitter look more intense on your nails, but I always prefer when I can just paint it on and it works, and that's what I do with this one. It's just a gorgeous glittery bomb. I like that slight warmth that beigey color gives it, but it's still super rainbowy and colorful. Next up we have Cirque Colors Space Cowboy, and I just honestly love the Cirque linear holo formula. They don't do it too often, but whenever they do, it always becomes a favorite of mine, and I especially love this one one because it's a really beautiful light brown nude, but it has that gorgeous rainbow linear holo sparkle running throughout, and it also still has those little tiny extra flecks of scattered holo, so it gives it a little bit more of a multifaceted look. It makes it just appear more holographic in my opinion, and I just love the combination of a neutral polish with a lot of sparkle in it, and I think that holo is probably the most sparkle you can get. Then we have another relatively new one in my collection, but it became an instant favorite. This is ILNP Cookie Cutter, and this is actually a holo jelly, so this is actually my favorite type of formula that ILNP does, and I love it from other brands too. You'll see a few more in this video, but basically it is a jelly finish, so it has a little bit of sheerness to it, and then it's scattered holo sparkles running throughout. So I think that just adds so much fun to the polish. Again, I love that combination with a neutral color, in this case this gorgeous light brown with a rainbow sparkle in there, and because it's a jelly you can actually kind of see the layers of sparkle as I build up coverage, so I think it's really beautiful. I love that this one is opaque enough that you can build it up and not get visible nail line, but it still has that jelly-like feel to it. And then we have Holo Taco Espresso Your Holo, and this was actually a collection I loved, but I think this one was my favorite of that collection, and this is just a really beautiful deep brown scattered holo, so it's not quite a jelly. It has a little bit more opaque of a formula, but you can still see that scattering of holo, and it is super packed in there, so it's just this beautiful randomized rainbow mixed with that beautiful neutral brown color. So again, just a perfect combination. It feels like an any time of year color because it's a neutral shade, and it just has so much added fun because of that holo sparkle. Next up we have one from Zoya. This one is called Twinklet, and I have to say recently Zoya has been impressing me a lot, especially with their holo glitters, because they have been making these full coverage scattered holo polishes that you can just paint on like normal, and they are just so packed. And this one was a huge standout for me. It's this super light pink. It's totally packed with this scattered holo glitter, but it just applies so smoothly and easily, and it looks so beautiful on. I feel like this polish would be so good for a glitter gradient, but it really just looks so beautiful on its own that that's just how I keep on wanting to wear it. So another gorgeous shade. It feels like a neutral even though it's pink, just because that color is soft enough that I feel like you can really wear it any time of year. And then we have a more subtle take on that same kind of color and finish. This one is Smith & Colt Take Fountain, and this is another pinky neutral glitter jelly, but this one does feel a little bit softer. As you can see, it's on the sheer side. I get just the slightest amount of visible nail line, but it still has that gorgeous holo sparkle running throughout. This is a scattered finish, as you can see, and there's also a couple of different sizes in there, so again, it really gives a more multifaceted look. It feels like a really beautiful neutral, but it just has that extra touch of something special in there, so it actually feels like a very good bridal color to me. Then we've got another ILNP holo jelly. This one is called Euphoria, and this one is just the most glorious bright orange jelly base that is packed with a scattered holo sparkle. And another thing that I love about this finish from ILNP is that it's actually teeny tiny little flakies, so it's not actually that hex glitter shape that you normally see. So I think that just makes it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more elegant. This one was on my list of favorite orange polishes of all time, and it's just one of my favorite polishes of all time. I think it's so beautiful, especially in the summer, but I think it also works really well as like a pumpkin-y color in the fall. Then we have a polish from Potion Polish. This one is called Fallen Leaves, and this one is another jelly polish that has holo glitter in it, but what I think is really interesting about this one is the holo glitters are, first of all, they're gold, which I think usually holographic glitter or pigment tends to be silver, so I think that alone is pretty interesting, but it's also this really unique shard kind of shape, so it almost looks like the hex glitter but kind of cut up and twisted around, so it looks really interesting. It definitely catches the light so beautifully. It's paired with this gorgeous orangey red jelly base, and you can just see the layers through, and it's just a really stunning, unique holo. Next up, we have another classic, one that I have mentioned for many years on this channel, and that is Starly Norepinephrine. And this one is a red linear holo, and I just love this one. I think the thing that makes it so interesting to me is that the holographic pigment, it does shine rainbow, but for the most part, when I see it, it almost looks like it has this blue shine to it, which I think is so unique. It's definitely hard to capture on camera, and I think you do get more of the full spectrum of rainbow in sunlight rather than with direct lighting, which is what I'm using for this video, but it's a really stunning shade. And just in general, I find red linear holo to be super interesting. I actually did do a video comparison of all of my linear red holos, so if you want to check that out, I will pop it in the cards. Next up, we have a Holo Taco Crimson Void. This is another red linear holo, but this one is more of a maroon color. We've got this super deep red base, and then it is packed with this linear holo. And what's special about this one is that the holo pigment is a little bit bigger, so I feel like it does catch the light a little bit more and it looks more dimensional, which I think is really fun. Honestly, I love this color so much. It's definitely one of my all-time favorite Holo Taco polishes. I feel like a lot of people don't like this color, and I'm not really sure why, because I think it's just stunning. Then we have another from Potion Polish. This one is called Cinnamon Apple Sangria, and this one is a really beautiful pinky leaning maroon kind of color, and it has this really interesting scattered holo flake running throughout that I think just looks so beautiful. It almost reminds me of kind of like this diamond chip look, and this is a kind of finish that I've seen from a few brands. Starly has a few. I've actually done a few collab shades with them in this sort of finish, and Zoya has done it as well, and I just can't get enough of it. I think it looks really gorgeous, and what's really interesting about it is that it's not in a jelly base, it's in a more opaque base, but it still manages to show the layers of glitter, so I just think that's really cool. The holo is definitely more on the subtle side, but you can definitely see it when the light hits it. Then we have one from England. This one is called Dracula, and this is just a stunning medium pink linear holo, and I love this one because the formula is so smooth and buttery and easy to work with. And this one is actually a one coater on me, although I am showing you two coats just for consistency's sake. But I love the England holo formula. It's another one that almost gives me this sort of pastel rainbow look to it. So I think it's just like a very fine pigment in there that gives it a softer rainbow glow, and I just think it's unreal gorgeous. Next up, we have LA Colors in Prism, and this one is a really beautiful purple holo jelly that is packed with a scattered holo sparkle, and you can see this is really packed in there. It is super holographic, and this is a dollar store brand, but let me tell you, their Diamond Crush line, which is all holo jellies, is truly incredible. The quality, especially for the price, is so unbelievably good. So if you ever see those in store, absolutely grab them. They are all incredible. This one I just love because I love a purple nail polish, but truly they are all unreal gorgeous. And then we have another one of my collab shades from Starly. This one is called Stargazer, and this is another purple scattered holo jelly, and it is so special to me, but I just think that the color itself is so stunning beyond that. I love that deep purple color, and I just think that the layers of holo glitter just shine so perfectly, so can't get enough of this one, of course. But I just love a good purple nail polish, and I truly think this is a good purple nail polish. Then we have another China Glaze. This one is called IDK, and this is of course a purple nail polish, and this one is a linear holo, and it's this really beautiful cooler toned soft lavender shade. Again, you can really see that holo pigment once it dries down, and it is so stunning. The formula of the China Glaze linear holos is very thin, but I just think it looks so beautiful on the nail. By the way, quick side note, using top coat should not mess up the holographicness of a polish, so always feel free to apply your top coat. Once it dries, it should look nicely holographic. And then we've got another one from England. This one is called Mina, and this is another soft lavender, almost periwinkle colored linear holo polish. Again, such an incredible formula, super smooth, super buttery, and incredibly opaque. So this one is actually almost a one coater on me as well, but I did end up doing 2 coats. And again, it just has that really beautiful soft rainbow going on. In my head, I've always thought of the China Glaze IDK and this one as dupes, but I can see now that this one is a lot more cooler toned, almost leaning into periwinkle bluish territory. Next up, we've got ILNP Skyline. Again, just coming back to the same formula that I can't get enough of because they have just made so many good ones. This one is actually a navy blue jelly that is packed with that scattered holo sparkle that is actually little teeny tiny flakies, and it's just so holographic. I always find that deeper colors like this tend to look more holographic. I think it's just the contrast between that silver holo pigment and a darker color that works so well, but this one's just a stunning shade. It just feels so perfectly wintry and moody, so I love this one. Then we have Zoya Lennon, and this is another scattered holo jelly. As if I haven't mentioned enough, clearly the scattered holo jelly is my favorite type of holo formula. I just think that it's perfection. I love the combination, especially in the different colors that you can get. And this one's such a beautiful combo. We've got this deeper teal color, and it is just packed with that silver holo glitter that sparkles so beautifully. I love that slight sheerness. You can just see a touch of the visible nail line. It almost reminds me of just like the ocean or a pool getting hit with sunlight. I think it's so stunning. And then we have LA Colors Aurora Sky. This is another diamond crush polish, and I just want to show you how incredibly holographic and sparkly these polishes can be, especially when you're talking about the last polish that I showed, the Zoya one, which is considerably more expensive and almost less holographic. I mean, I love them both, but I just cannot get over how impressive this formula is for as little the price is. Again, just can't get enough of those Diamond Crush formulas. I highly recommend them. Then we've got another teal one. I actually didn't realize how many teal holos are in my favorites, but I guess it's no surprise because they really are stunning. This one is OPI Ready Fet Go, and this one is a little bit more subtle. Again, OPI does have a little bit more subtle of a holo formula, but I do think it's really beautiful. I know not everybody wants the most intensely holographic possible pigment on their nails, so this is a really good option for a more subtle look. But again, when the light hits it, I do think that it comes a little bit more alive, and it really is packed in there. So it's actually a linear holo, even though it is a little bit bigger, so it almost looks scattered. And then we have ILNP Seaside, again, scattered holo jelly, but this one is actually a little bit more packed in with the holo flakies. So I do think that this one is a little bit different of a formula. We've got this gorgeous light blue base color, and it is just absolutely packed with that holographic flaky, so you're definitely getting a lot in there with each coat, and it just looks so rainbowy and sparkly. It feels like the perfect summer color. And then we have, surprisingly, my only green of the video. This is Ice Cream Nails Keep Off the Grass. This is actually a really gorgeous chartreuse kind of green, and it is a linear holo. It's super holographic. It's so gorgeous, and I just love colors like this that I feel like kind of toe the line between being a pretty color and being kind of an ugly color, because I know not everybody likes having chartreuse on their nails, but I do think that having that holo pigment in there does make it a more universally appealing kind of color, and I just think that that chartreuse color is so stunning. It feels like a very flattering shade for any skin tone. Next up, we have Painted Polish, That's the Spirit, and this one is another scattered holo jelly. This one, I was trying to decide whether or not to include this, but it is a favorite, so I do want to share it with you. But this one actually also has reflective glitters in it, so it has that sort of flash reactive if you're getting hit with a flashlight or your phone flash, but it does have a lot of holo sparkle in there as well, and it has this really gorgeous gray jelly base that has a little bit of warmth to it. I'm not sure if it's just warm in general or if it just combines with my skin tone to make a more grayish color, but I just think it's really really beautiful, and I just love the sparkle. Next up, we have a England Goth, and this one is the most stunning, super, super dark purple linear holo. It actually honestly looks black in most lightings, but it does have just a touch of purple color in there. So if you're looking at it in a brighter place, you will see that beautiful purple. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think my camera does this one justice. I do think it's more holographic in real life, but for whatever reason, that holo pigment was being a little shy on camera. Then we have Starly Crypt. This is a dark gray linear holo, and this is another one of those shades that I think is just one of my most holographic polishes of all time. So it's right up there with Cirque Subculture, where it's just super, super holographic, and I think it's such a beautiful shade. It's almost like a black base, but then it's packed with so much of that silver holo that it lightens it up a little bit. So I think it's really fun. It's also incredibly opaque. This one is actually a 1-coater on me, but I do like to wear it in 2 because for whatever reason in my head I'm convinced that makes it look more sparkly, but truly it is incredibly sparkly no matter what. And last but not least, we have Picture Polish Resand. I'm not gonna lie, I do think a part of the reason why I love this polish so much is because I very much like the name of it, but it's a really beautiful black scattered holo polish, and I think it is a little bit more on the subtle side, but it's so beautiful. I do like that there's a very slight variety in the sizes of that holo pigment in there, so it's super teeny tiny, but there's also some larger ones that make it look like a starry night sky. So it's kind of just like having a galaxy manicure on your nails without having to do anything. So I just love it for that reason. So there you have it, my top 30 holo nail polishes of all time. I personally just love all of these. I think they're such incredible quality, and I love those holo rainbows that just shine through on my nail. Here's a quick comparison of all of the colors together. Like I said, not in any particular order, just kind of in a rainbow order here, but I will link all of the ones that are available for sale down in the description. You can check them out if you're interested, but I would love to hear from you. What is your favorite holo nail polish? Do you prefer a linear holo or a scattered holo? And is there a particular brand that's your go-to for holographic nail polish? Let me know in the comments, we can chat about it. And if you enjoy these favorites videos, definitely give this one a thumbs up. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon, my Royal Astronomer Amanda M, as well as my Cosmic Admirals Paula, Ken, Rosie, and Angel. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Megan D, and Megan D wants to know, what is your favorite coffee drink during the winter time? I actually don't know how unpopular of an opinion this is because I feel like a lot of people are the same way, but I only like iced coffee. I think it's a very rare occasion where I drink hot coffee, and even this time of year when it's very cold out, I still very strongly prefer iced coffee. So I will say in general, I don't really drink coffee seasonally, but I do love trying whatever the seasonal coffees are that are available in coffee shops. The only problem is during the winter time, I feel like they're usually some sort of pepperminty situation, which I really don't like mint at all, or they're a sort of mocha kind of situation, and I also really don't like mocha. So honestly, this time of year and also every time of year, I mostly like caramel coffee. But I will say it is different because in the summertime, I like to just drink my iced coffee black because I think it's very refreshing that way. But in the winter time, I need it to be on the creamier side. So I do not like drinking black coffee in the winter. But yeah, I'm curious to hear of your coffee preferences this time of year. So let me know them in the comments, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.